Well, I think a lot says about the character of our team. We have kids that are determined to be the best, and we talked about at half that this was a great opportunity to establish an identity as a team. And are we going to be the one that's going to come and relax and lay down and let those guys get back in it, or are we going to be the team that's going to come out there and put the pedal down and try to score as much points and shut them out? And so it was good to see going into the first game. You don't know sometimes, but it was good to see that our kids really bought into it and were determined to play a great second half.
What do you think of Jake Faber's performance?
Well, we talked about it in meetings that what a difference a year makes, and you go from the first game last year against McKendree, where he really struggled, until this game. It shows the maturation of Jake Faber as a player, and what we're doing offensively to play to his strengths. And so it was encouraging to see, and hopefully we can continue to build on the success that we had Thursday. Well, I mean, it could go either way, but I think our team's mature enough to handle the success that we had Thursday night. We talked about that we're not satisfied where we're at. Now, obviously, we're very ecstatic about the win and how we played Thursday night, but there's a lot of things that we need to improve on before Northern Michigan comes to town. So our kids are focused, had a great practice this morning, and so you see the guys that the enthusiasm that they had to get back on the field and get better. Well, it's exciting for our kids, because we talked about it. There was a little hairy situation first of the game with Tashani fumbling the ball on that punt return. Just a poor decision on his part, but our kids had that mentality the next play. Didn't let that mistake affect us, and it was good, and it was encouraging to see our kids, really concentrate on protecting the ball. Well, I just think it talks as a testament, one, to what our staff has done from a coaching standpoint, getting our kids prepared for the McKendree, and then our kids carrying out that game plan. The kids were focused and determined to be one of the best defenses in the conference, if not the nation, and we felt that we gave that up last season, the last game of the season. So our kids coming back this season were determined to be the best, and that started Thursday night. Well, we feel like we have the kids that can do it. Now, obviously, we got to carry that out during each game. So, but we got some great leadership on that side of the ball, and our kids are determined to be the best. And you worry about so much success coming from that first game, how they're going to handle it. But if you looked at their demeanor and the work ethic today, the first practice, they were determined to correct some of those mistakes. We gave up a long pass Thursday evening, and so our kids were determined to go out there and correct that mistake and be even better this Saturday. Well, it's great that people are recognizing the success that we're having, but it's just one game, and our focus is for Northern Michigan, and our kids aren't looking, as those stats, because in the end it comes down to conference. Who wins the conference and where you're ranked in the regional polls, and so we still got a long ways to go, and our kids are focused on beating Northern Michigan this weekend. Well, there's a lot of unknowns. This will be Northern Michigan's first game, so it's not like that we have video on them and know what to expect. So, our coaches have got a great idea, kind of what they're going to do offensively and defensively. But we've talked to our kids that we just got to be prepared for anything, and so that's been our focus, to really concentrate on the little things this week and be prepared for anything come Saturday.
And Coach, talk about Marcus Jones, and we talked about it the other night, but coming off 7 block kicks, leading the nation last year, already got one in game 1. It shouldn't be that easy for one guy to get that many block kicks. How does he keep doing it?
Well, Marcus has a knack for it, but it really started with Grant Kuntz getting push on their guard to kind of open up just a little space for Marcus to squeeze through, and it's a team effort, and our guys take pride in that, and it was a way for us to keep that shutout on the defensive side, and so our guys were determined that they were going to block it and knew that we had a good chance doing it. Yeah, I think it instills a lot of confidence in the team, not only on the defensive side but offensive as well. But our kids have a great knack for it. Coach Love does a great job putting them in a great situation and great position to make those plays. But that's something that hopefully we can continue to do. And and hopefully that'll add more pressure to the teams we're facing. I was really thrilled about the way we came out. I thought for game one, this is probably our best performance we had since I've arrived here at Angelo State. But as we saw last night, a lead is never big enough. So that's something that we've talked to our kids already. You really got to focus to play 60 minutes. And we saw what happened last night to A&M. And so that's a great learning tool for our kids going into week 2. No, and we've talked about handling adversity, and that was a great one for us to handle in the first of the game. But our mentality since fall camp started is next play, and you heard a lot of kids on the sideline. We're okay, next play, and so our kids have bought into it, and it was good to see that it came to play Thursday night. Our guys love our home crowd, and hopefully it'll get even better. But we need all of our fans to be loud, and it plays a huge part, especially on a third down. Our kids feed off that energy and that excitement, and hopefully we can build on it this weekend.
Oh, it's been really exciting. We're learning a lot about the players we have. Whenever you're new, you have to learn about everybody. You don't have any returners to rely on, so we started with. This is how we stretch, and this is the tempo of practice that we like to have, and this is kind of our process. And what I like about our girls is they've embraced everything, and they're excited to be out there, and they're excited to be better, and they work really, really hard. They're great competitors. So 4 days in, I've already learned that our girls are really hard workers, and that's the first thing you need in order to be successful. So I'm excited about that, and we leave Thursday to go to my old stomping grounds and play in a tournament, and it'll be a good variety of competition for them, some Division I schools and JUCO schools and Division III and Division II, and so I'm excited about seeing them compete so we can learn as much as we can during the fall season. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. They get to learn how people go about their business in college tennis. We have 4 freshmen, 2 sophomores. So we have a couple of players who've gotten a season of college tennis under their belts, but for the most part, it's going to be a new experience for everyone. And so, just making sure that they know that there's a process to winning. And so, the challenge for us is making sure we're very organized and making sure that we do everything we need to do to prepare them to go out there and play. And at the end of the day, it's a tennis match. They've played a couple hundred tennis matches in their careers, so they know what to do, but they'll get to see how physical college tennis can be compared to the juniors, and but most importantly too, they get to spend time as a team on the road and be together and learn about each other. They're all from different countries and different cultures, and so that part I think is equally important as the competition for sure. Absolutely, yeah. So that was one thing that was really important for me as I was trying to figure out what kind of players I was looking for. Obviously, I wanted high-level players who could do a little bit of everything, but most importantly, I wanted people who were very excited about the opportunity to start a program, because it is a unique it's a unique situation and something that they'll remember the rest of their lives. And this team will set the standard for every team we have after this. And so they've really embraced that. And like I told them, everything we do is going to be a first. And so that's exciting. But we have to set the tone for how our program is going to operate. And so far, the first 4 days that we've had have been really, really good. They've really embraced some of our things and some things we talk about and our way of doing things. And so it's really exciting. But that was part of what I was looking for when I recruited these girls. I wanted people who were very excited about this opportunity. To be honest with you, it's not that different. When I first got to Tyler in 2004, we basically recruited a whole new women's team. And so our men's team at the time had been, we had some returners, but I was kind of in that situation. It's been a while since I've had to do that. So, like I said, just making sure that we're very good about explaining our process so that hopefully within the next weeks or so, we don't have to explain and they can go out and do it. But they're getting it. They're picking up very quickly. And we throw a lot at them, but, our girls have very high IQs for individuals who have never played college tennis for the most part. So I'm really excited about the group. But it's definitely been a challenge. I had to be a little bit more prepared. I was telling our strength coach and our trainers, I had to go through our whole stretching routine because, usually I have a senior who just leads that. Well, I had to lead it the first day. So I pulled the hamstring too. But other than that, but little things like that I had to remember, but yeah, it's been really good.
Well, I like, I think I said this the other day, but I like the balance that I saw in our offense. We've got a bunch of different ways to score, a bunch of different players that can carry the load for us. We don't have to depend on one player, which makes us harder to defend for sure. This is the first time we've run a two-setter offense here in a long time, and only because we've got the horses, the players that can fill the needs that help make that successful. So it was good to see that. Our ball control was pretty solid. Our serve receive was pretty solid. We need to do a little bit better job when we're out of system, when we don't pass the ball where we want to pass it, when we got to take swings. I think that's an area we need to improve in. But overall, it was a pretty good weekend. Well, it's definitely going to be a big jump in level. The ability the teams that we're going to play is going to be a lot tougher for sure. So it'll be nice to see us try to rise to that occasion. We'll see how we do, but obviously we want to prepare ourselves to beat the best teams in the country. You don't get to do that unless you get out there and play them. So we're excited about the trip. 5 matches in 4 days, and against some of the best that there is, and we want to see where we fit in that mix. Well, the first thing is that Colorado Christian is really well coached. Bobby, he's a new coach there, but he's really sharp. And so they made some nice adjustments to close the gap a little bit between us. But what I liked from my team is that we executed late, when it mattered most, and put ourselves in position to close out sets, and we did that. And then in the third set, we just they'd given us everything they had, and we kind of stepped on the gas a little, which we talk about doing, and kind of pulled away, it's a nice way to finish for sure. It kind of seals it a little bit, but at the same time, you were talking about football with Coach Wagner, last night's game, no lead is safe. Volleyball, there's no clock, so you can never run out of time, just run out of points. So we want to seal the deal when we have the chance. So it was good to see us do that. Well, I'm going to correct you because you're wrong, because we've done that a couple of times. But it's our goal to go 4-0. If we drop a set, we don't drop a set. But we want to establish ourselves as a team to beat. And so you come out there and you throw your best at them. But I also want to get kids some time. And sometimes that changes the chemistry on the court. But you want to see how they react and how your team performs under, different circumstances. Somebody gets hurt, somebody's sick, whatever, you've got to play other players. They have to feel that pressure too. They have to know what that game experience is like. So we do that sometimes, but and we did that this weekend, and we still stayed competitive, which is a good sign for us. Well, we only have really one true practice this week, and we had it this morning, so we worked on some of those things for sure. But we need to put it together during competition, and so we're going to have to make adjustments in the matches that we're playing. Teams are going to start with plan A, and then they're going to go to plan B, and we're going to have to react to that and handle that stuff. So that's one of the great things about this tournament, because all the teams are really well coached. They're able to do different things and have different ways to score. They're not just a one-trick pony. So it'll be nice to see us have that opportunity to be able to adjust and make changes on our side as well. That's a great question. We try to not be just focused the whole time. It sounds weird, but when you're on the bus, you're doing your homework, you're catching up, you're getting some sleep, you're eating snacks, but when we get in the gym, it's time, it's go time, and we dial in. And so we chunk it, we worry about things one at a time. We don't think about the big picture. We got one match on Wednesday, and that's all we're worried about right now. Then when that match is over, we'll turn our focus to whatever's next, but we don't try to think about all of it at once. We think about what's ahead, what's next, and we try to do that on the court too. What's next? What happens next? And if we're prepared for what's next, we're in a good position to win that point. Same thing with a match. If we're prepared for what's next, not what's 2 matches from now, we're going to be in a good position to win that match.
Yeah, I thought that, we executed the game plan perfectly. We had some video of UCO and gave us an insight of what to expect from them. And so there were a couple of things that we felt like we could take advantage of against them. And Trinity, obviously, in the first, 20, 30 minutes, whatever the game, did a great job of that. And then we get into the second half and we want to make sure that we hold on to that shutout, which is not easy to do. A team's going to come out with a lot of energy in the first 15, 20 minutes. And UCO did. And then we scored that third goal by Elizabeth, which was great shot from her. And then we're up 3-0. And at that point, for the most part, you feel like, okay, we've got this game under control. Now the question is can we get the shutout? So I was pleased with that game. Good performance from the team. We spent a lot of energy to get that win, and we were rewarded with the shutout and the win. So it was a good one. And well, I think that defensively we've got a lot of defenders on the team. And so we've been trying to experiment with the best pairings, the best matches. And so we felt like we had some good defenders. But I'm not sure that I anticipated that we would get the shutout against UCO, considering they're a top 25 ranked team. They've got some girls, that are as tall as me back there, and so it's a difficult situation for you. Got Trinity that's probably 5'5", 5'6" maybe. Our forwards just aren't that big, and so to say that we're going to go in there and get 3 goals, a little bit unexpected. To say we get the shutout, again, hopeful. But yeah, I mean, if we had given up a goal with a young team, I think we started 6 or 7 new players from the team this year. That's a pretty big accomplishment from maybe what we thought could happen, worst case scenario. There were a couple in there that were fantastic. There was one that was highlight reel. She had to come across to the far post and just barely tips it wide. And the other team, I could hear their coach saying, that's in, and then she tips it wide. And he even gave her a tip of the hat after the game, how well she played. So, but there were a number of those shots too where they were shooting from 25, 35 yards out, where some of her saves were a little bit more routine, but she definitely had some very good saves in there. Yeah, and we just lost our mark, got beat in the penalty area on a cut, and was a little bit frustrated with that because we had talked about that quite a bit before the game. This team is very technical. Make sure you don't get cut on the dribble.